Welcome to the Embassy Podcast. You have myself, Armani, here, and we have Josh in the house. And today we're going to bring you all the updates when it comes to real estate in 2025. I know this is going to be a very interesting video, Josh, just because there's obviously a lot of things that are going on in the market right now, especially when it comes to tariffs, Trump, and everything to do with Canada. So for all the Canadians and U.S. citizens that are watching this podcast, this is going to be one that you do not want to miss because we're going to talk a lot about the foreign policies and how they impact us in the Canadian real estate market today. Also, we're going to talk about things like Windsor, and we're going to talk about the projects that we're working on. And let's get started. So Josh, a lot going on right now.
There is a lot going on right now.
What are your thoughts on, let's talk about tariffs for a bit to start off with. With tariffs and with Trump, where do you see the real estate market heading? Obviously, we don't know how this is going to pan out or what's going to happen. But if we were to have a crystal ball, and if these tariffs and everything that he's threatening Canada with comes to life come April, what happens to the real estate market in your opinion?
You know what? It's really tough to say because Windsor is so heavily dependent on the automotive market, right? There's no other sectors that we really rely on for, we haven't really diversified as a city.
Yeah.
Right? So if the automotive market gets hit hard, there's going to be a lot of layoffs, there's going to be a lot of job loss, right? But at the same time, it's like, if the rates go down, it might bring more people back to the market as well.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to say which way it's going to go.
Yeah.
But time will tell.
Yeah.
Time will tell at this point.
I agree.
The market is really stagnant right now. Whether you look at residential or multifamily, there's not as many sales as there were in the past.
No.
Right? I think people are just waiting on the sideline to see what happens with the tariffs, see what happens with rates, and kind of just make a decision from there. Now, if you look at the multifamily market, there's not a lot of movement there right now. So I think investors right now should be looking at those opportunities because we might not see these types of opportunities again, or for a while at least.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like I agree with you there. And the stock market just went down significantly as well. So I think there's just a lot of opportunity on the table for people to actually find and allocate money to actually be used right now. So if you're holding and hoarding a lot of cash, this might be the time for you to start looking into buying properties and putting your capital to use when you don't have a lot of competition, because interest rates are still high, people are still deterred, and the smart investors, we have a lot of clients right now that are actually picking up properties that are, but these are seasoned vets though. Just want to make it very clear. Like the average person right now, I feel like there's a lot less of those. But the seasoned vets that have like 30, 40, 50 units, they started with acquiring assets in times like this because they would actually find the best deals and then build their portfolio thereon forward because they would actually get the most amount of lemon to squeeze because of the situations that we're in currently right now. So what kind of assets do you think people should buy?
Definitely multifamily, multiple streams of income, especially at times like these, right? When, everything's uncertain. You don't know about your job, you don't know about rates, you don't know about tariffs. If you have something that's constantly producing you multiple streams of income,
under one roof.
Yeah, that's generational wealth. Right there.
Think about it this way: is if yourself in your personal situation right now, is it better to have one stream of income or is it better to have multiple streams of income?
Multiple for sure.
Right, but a lot of people they just focus on too much on the multiple streams of income. But ideally, I would like to have multiple people pay me, multiple things pay me. The more the merrier, right? Especially that way. So I think in that sense, it's the same thing applies to multifamily. And I actually read somewhere where the multifamily product, when it was actually originated, the apartment buildings and the coding of how they allowed residential financing to happen for multifamily, under 4 units specifically, it was bankers and politicians, the policymakers, that created the apartment buildings. And that created this entire sphere of investing into multifamily. The actual product of multifamily, people don't even know this, origination of this in America and Canada, according to the tax code, was literally made by policymakers and rich politicians and bankers that wanted to invest their money into a real estate asset that could be classified as a commercial loan asset, but it would serve a common need of something that everybody needs to have, which is a roof over their head. Whereas a commercial asset with just commercial plazas and stuff, not everybody needs that. That's something that if you want to operate a business and run a business in booming times, those kind of spaces will go crazy, right? They will be expensive to own. They'll go up in market value. But everybody needs food, everybody needs water, everybody needs a roof over their head, and multifamily apartment building and apartment complexes solve that problem. But the tax write-offs and the incentives that you got with it was the same as commercial plaza when you own over 6 units or more in the residential side. And that's something that's really neat there. But for people to get to that level, you can start off by buying single family homes or buying duplexes that we always encourage our clients to get into, because that's kind of multifamily, how it starts for the origination of it. So you kind of learn the tangible assets. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, you get your feet wet in the water first, you start to walk a little bit, then you can go off running when you have your systems and everything processed and you understand what it's like to be an owner, what it's like to be a landlord, what kind of problems am I going to face on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
You know, what are the maintenance things that I have to kind of be on top of? Do I have to pay my bills on time for this, right? For my insurance, my taxes, my repairs and maintenance, and my property management company. So you're only as good as your property management company, and you're only as good as the systems and processes that you have in place,
of course,
for your property. And I think starting off small teaches you that. So for people that are looking to get to a big level of owning multiple 500 units, 600 units, everybody started somewhere. You got to start now. And this is all you have today.
Yeah. No, I agree. Somebody that doesn't have as much capital as somebody that's buying, big apartment buildings.
Yeah.
Starting off with a single family or a duplex, triplex, and then you start selling those properties off to get to those bigger asset classes.
Exactly, because no one can just save their way to a 20-unit apartment building.
No.
If I always wanted to own 30, 40-unit apartment buildings, now I have over 400 units. I started off by buying a single family house. And then from there, I made a little bit of profit, learned a lot about myself in the process, then got into a duplex, made some money there, struggled with it for a bit. And I'm like, wait, something's working here. I just got to keep stacking up.
Yeah.
I got to keep adding up. And that money that I had kept on just saving, like 15 grand here, I would buy a property. And I would save 40 grand and I would find a partner, buy a next property. And then kept on stacking up 5, 6, 8 properties, small ones. Eventually, I sold all of them, had enough money to go buy a 20-unit apartment building. And then ever since I did that, my life changed, right? Because that kind of opened the doors up for the commercial side of things that I was talking about.
Of course.
Because, more of expert level stuff, because it's not for beginners. It's more so like it's kind of the same thing, but a lot different in the same time. In the same time. So the way it's financed, the way that you can pull equity out, and there's a lot more intricate levels to that stuff. But it's very beneficial for the owner and investor at that level. But to get there, you got to start small. And multifamily is a great space.
Yeah. Armani, tell us a little bit about what you're working on right now.
Ooh, there's a lot of things actually.
Yeah,
so,
there is.
Well, right now we're opening a winery and a wedding venue in Essex. So in Essex, we're opening, it's a 50-acre property. It's going to be one of the best wedding venues that Windsor's ever seen.
Yeah.
And I've been spending about a year and a half on it. And it's going to have, it has cathedral ceilings, very French chateau vibe, and just the amount of work that's kind of put into this place. It speaks volumes. It's called the Castle on Malden. We're live on Instagram now. Our photography and videography will happen because we're almost at the completion of this project right now. So I'm trying something new. I'm going into a new business. I want to be into the wedding industry, and I think this property, Josh, if you see it, and I know you've seen it,
I've seen it,
but if they see it, what do you think from what you've seen?
I think people are going to be blown away. There's definitely nothing like this in the Windsor Essex area.
Yeah.
Especially with the land that you have and the possibilities of, multiple different areas to do different things.
Yeah.
Like it's not just one venue, you have like 5, 6 venues all in one.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Right. And it's kind of cool because the people that are getting married there, like we have so many requests for bookings already. And, we're very fortunate that way because people have been following the journey just through my Instagram. And, we haven't even advertised for this yet. Yeah. And we already started getting bookings for it. But we're holding off until we're officially launching. So we're going to be launching this year. And this place has multiple proposal venues areas. So on any of the property, there's 2 ponds, large ponds. There's a heart-shaped pond in the back that we're making right now. There's 10 acres of trails and woods. So it's going to have a woods component where you can actually have, a very nature-esque wedding, right? Very rustic. And if you want to have like your personal glass tent anywhere, you can put a tent anywhere in the property. Yeah. Like we let you do what you want to do. And you also get a huge mansion with the property. And this mansion is off the hook. So you got all the entertainment things you can think about. You have a private wine cellar, spa. You have a 10-seater hot tub, a 13-seater barrel sauna with a globe. I'm very excited. I'm
Yeah.
very, very excited. I think it's something that is going to be a staple in the
I think so.
Windsor area and Essex area for years to come, and it's surrounded by all wineries around it. So
Yeah, I think when it finally goes live and people can actually see what you can do there,
yeah.
it's gonna be crazy. You're gonna be booked out all the time.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of engagement requests. So
Yeah.
like we do a lot of engagement proposals
Mhm.
where people can come propose, to the significant other. You can do corporate parties, corporate retreats, events. So people are getting married in different venues and in different halls, but they still want to rent our property from us just to have their entire families together to celebrate in the house because the house is very grand.
Yeah, absolutely. It is.
Extremely luxe.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's pretty much been my, occupying a lot of my time right now.
That's awesome.
What about you? What are you working on? I know you're doing a couple of flips right now.
Yeah. So one of the flips is actually in Essex, where our office is.
Mm-hmm.
I purchased that at the end of last year. It was very distressed property, so it's taking some time, but we're getting through the the little things that have set us back with foundation issues and just everything being out of whack. And
So when you bought this property, let's go into those issues and those things, right? Real quick. Like, why did that not scare you? Do you think that would scare a lot of people to buy this property? And why did that encourage you to buy this property? Do these things not worry you in terms of how much capital that they may require, or are you just so confident in your ability to solve these problems?
I think you definitely got to have confidence in yourself, especially taking on something at this big of a scale. Like, it's not like I'm putting a bathroom in or putting a kitchen in, slapping some paint on the wall or putting some flooring down. Like, there were the front porch was coming down and I had to raise it up, re-embrace it, put an all brand new porch on. There's a lot of
Yeah, so you put a lot of money into this.
Yeah, there's a lot of money dumped into this, but you got to be able to see the bigger picture. Obviously do your due diligence, run your numbers properly, but have faith in yourself and your ability to actually, follow through with these projects and get them to the finish line.
So I just want to mention something that you said there. Have faith, but also run your numbers and do your due diligence, right?
Yeah, of course.
So how many flips have you done prior to this?
I'm probably about like 7 or 8 at this point.
So you've been successful 7 to 8 times, or have you lost money on any of them?
No, I've definitely lost money.
Okay.
I still call it a success.
Learning, because you're learning through it, right?
Of course.
And if you weren't making money in it, you wouldn't do it 7 to 8 times.
No, definitely
you know what
not.
I mean? So obviously you've kind of vetted through the process. You've failed. You've learned. You've seen what things you could optimize and done better.
Absolutely.
That got you to where you are now. Now you can take bigger risks. Now you're like, you know what? I understand this. This is like the back of my hand, right?
Exactly.
That's the type of person that you want to learn from. Because if you want to, let's just say, flip properties, or if you're interested in actually trying to make a little bit of money from flipping stuff instead of more long-term hold approach, Josh is a perfect person for that because he's done a lot of flips. Right? And you're involved in one right now.
Yeah.
So what's one key takeaway that you can give for all the viewers out there that they can take note of to look for their next flip?
I would say don't get lost in analysis paralysis. People will run over numbers, but realistically at the end of the day, I don't think it's the numbers that scare them. I think it's just
Their ability.
the ability to actually do something.
I agree.
I think you just gotta, if you're not going 100% into something, don't even do it at all. Because this is something that needs 100% effort. And if you're not going to, be all in, you're going to fail.
Great point.
Right from the start.
I feel like we're our own worst enemies.
Mm-hmm.
And even myself taking on this big project of a new winery, I don't know nothing about wine, right? Other than the fact how much of it I pay for and I drink. I actually know quite a lot about wine that way, but I would like the wedding industry, but now I want to, I'm very invested. I learned so much about wines. I took so many courses on what type of wine, where the grapes come from, the growing process, just to how to have the bottle on what angle, what kind of thermostat I need at my, wines. I've went really, really into this.
Yeah.
And you have to be obsessive.
Of course.
In the craft that you're in, even if you don't know about it, but how will I learn if I don't do it?
Exactly.
Right. So I think that's a great point. I think you just have to go all in and not let people worry you. Because when I was doing this, or if I did any of my projects that I've ever done in my past, or any of your projects, how many people have told you, I wouldn't do this? Even our real estate buddies, that probably look at the same deal that we look at, but they look at this. We're looking at the same house, but we're looking at 2 different opportunities.
Yeah. It's 2 different perspectives.
Right. So someone's opportunity, right, is not an opportunity for the next person. Someone's garbage is your gold.
100%.
And I think that's what it comes down to, is being a firm believer in your ability to do stuff, and also being decisive in your decision making process.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let's just talk about numbers real quick. What did you buy it for? What are you going to be in it for? And what do you think you can get out of this? And we're going to make a video on this just to show you proof that this is actually possible, because he's ran his numbers to a point where he knows exactly where his margins lie. They might be off by a couple thousand here, a couple thousand there, but the realm of where he's going to make the profit is going to be relatively one area, and it's going to be significant.
Yeah. So I purchased a property for $168,000, which is unheard of in today's
what kind
market.
Of house? Detached?
It's a detached single family home.
How many beds and bath?
3 beds, 1 bath.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's steal.
Yeah,
168 is like land value.
It's less. It's less,
That's
actually.
crazy.
You can't even buy a mobile home for 168 grand.
That's crazy.
So, and that's all from, networking, having connections, and, being around the right people, right? So that's extremely important.
Yeah.
But I bought it for 168,000. I'm going to put probably about 130 into it.
Okay.
So I'll be roughly, I think all in at the end of the day, around 320 to 330.
Okay.
I should sell for anywhere between, depending on the market, obviously, I would say between 480 to low 500s.
Wow, that's and even after taking away real estate commissions, taxes, and stuff like that, you're still left with a huge payout at the end of the day.
Of course.
So it still makes it worth your while.
100%.
Right. So people get really worried about flipping stuff in Canada because of obviously the capital gains that we got to pay.
Yeah.
But I always say one thing, and this is a discussion we always have, is if you're paying capital gains, means you're making money.
Yeah.
And making money is not a bad thing. So if it enables you to grow that much faster into your next flip, or to gather that capital to go somewhere else, do it.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Because you don't want to stick onto that property and refinance it and take more debt and go to the next project.
No.
So you can do a lot with that capital. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, thank you.
You're going to do really well. You owe me dinner once, son.
I think I already owe you, but
we've been playing a lot of chess lately, and and Josh has been on the losing side of things on that side. But I think this has been a very productive podcast. So thank you for everybody to to kind of tune in. If you guys want us to discuss certain topics and things of that nature for the next video, we're open to suggestions. So in the comments down below, if you can please comment what topics you would like us to talk about. We can go very in depth into those topics specifically for you. Before we wrap it up, we're also going to be holding our real estate meetup, and that's going to be the date's going to be announced. So our real estate meetup is going to be actually happening at the new winery that we were just talking about, and this is actually the first time that we're actually bringing it to the public. So look for the post to follow. This is going to be a very exciting time for all the like-minded real estate individuals, whether you're a mortgage agent, investor, buyer, seller, or if you just want to learn about real estate, or just come say hi to Josh and myself in person, or come check out the winery. Be sure to follow our pages and our YouTube channel for more information on that event, and we will be very glad and excited to have you. So thank you for tuning in. Josh, what do we say at the end of every video? As always, stay invested.